The time is now start. Okay, the time is now 4:30 p.m. on October 21st, 2020, and this public meeting of the State Board of Education will come to order. This meeting of the State Board is being held virtually to protect residents' health during this public health emergency. The roll call will now be called for quorum. Mr. Hayworth.
Dr. Gasoy.
Here.
Mr. Jacobson. Mr. Jacobson. President Wattenberg.
Present.
Dr. O'Leary.
Here.
Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker. Dr. Sutter.
Here.
Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams. Mr. Batchelor.
Present.
Ms. McClay. Ms. Dell. Ms. Dell. Mr. O'Sullivan.
Here.
Madam President, you have quorum.
Thank you. A quorum has been determined, and the State Board will now proceed with the business portion. Members, we have a draft agenda before us. I'd like to shift the ceremonial resolution to item 9 and put the public comment, start with the reopening schools panels, and then put the public comment after them, either before 7, let's see, yeah, after that. Any objection? Okay, seeing no further changes, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
The motion being moved and seconded, I will ask for the yeas and nays. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Aye.
We also have the minutes from our October 7th working session before us. Are there any corrections or additions? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve them. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the motion is approved. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Ruth Wattenberg, Ward 3 representative and president of the State Board of Education. On behalf of the members of the DC State Board, I welcome our guests and our viewing public to our Wednesday, October 1st meeting. It is being held virtually due to the continuing coronavirus pandemic. Our next official meeting is on November 4th for our working session. The video for this meeting will be posted on our YouTube page at DC SBOE and rebroadcast on the District Knowledge Network as soon as it's available. Tonight, we are devoting virtually our entire meeting to the reopening of schools. I expect it to be long, interesting, and no doubt a frustrating night. Parents, students, and staff, all of whom will be intimately affected by how we undertake reopening, have a lot of views and ideas and questions, and so far not a lot of places to take them. They want credible information on what is safe and what kind of reopening plans can work, and they want their ideas and concerns to be heard and used. Tonight, we hope to provide some of this information and to provide an arena for hearing both concerns and ideas for what could work and work for different needs. We have some families that desperately want to get back in school. Some, like many teachers, absolutely can't go back to school because of underlying conditions, either their own or those of family members. And some really would like for their kids to go back, but they need to be convinced that it's safe for them, their children, their teachers, and they're not there yet. What kind of solutions are going to work for these different groups? How can we best support those students who are most in need? How can we knit them together into something workable? I have enormous empathy and respect for the folks who have to make this work. It's not easy. I would also note, as my favorite education researcher, Tony Bright, has written, to make good progress on hard problems, you have to follow the golden rule. Observe and consult the people on the ground who know the most about the problem, the employees and the clients. We need them to help us create solutions that work for us all. About tonight, In an effort to hear from many witnesses and given the realities of various schedules, we've altered our normal schedule a bit. We're starting an hour earlier than normal, as those of you who are watching know. We will start by hearing from a panel of experts, representatives from 2 schools who have managed to open for in-person learning. What lessons do they have for the rest of us? We'll hear from the leader of Digital Equity DC on efforts to close the digital divide, the president of our local teachers union about the various issues they face and the status of their discussions with DCPS, and the chairman of the COVID task force of the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, the professional experts on HVAC, which is an issue that is worrisome to so many and something that is hard for us non-experts to understand. Depending on the time, we may hear from initial public witnesses after that panel, but at 6, we will turn to a panel with the Deputy Mayor of Education and the Chief of Staff to the Chancellor. And from there, we are going to go into public comments. And so with that, I'd like to turn to our Interim State Superintendent, Shauna Young, for any opening statement. And welcome, Shauna Young, Acting Superintendent, to our show, to our shop.
Thank you so much, President Wattenberg, and it's a pleasure to be here for the October public meeting. As you know, Superintendent Kang's last day at OSSI was on Friday, October 16th, and I'm grateful for her leadership and her tireless efforts in service of DC students and families. This is my first meeting with you and my new role as Interim State Superintendent, and I'm excited to continue our work together. I'm grateful to the mayor and to Deputy Mayor Kine for giving me this opportunity. And our students in DC have made tremendous progress over the past several years, and we want to keep the momentum going. While the current pandemic has created many new challenges for our schools and families, I'm confident in the foundation that we've built at OSSI over the past several years and our ability to continue to help serve our community and also together with you. The responsibilities of OSSI as the state education agency and the State Board of Education are important. And as Interim State Superintendent, I'm committed to continuing to work with you as we both strive to meet our obligations to our residents. You'll continue to see me and my staff often when we have business with you, and I look forward to continuing our routine meetings with your leadership. At your October working session meeting, my staff presented the board with another update on our emergency and proposed regulations on attendance. The regulations define how attendance will be collected in the 2021 school year for both in-person and distance learning. To be considered present in distance learning, an LEA must define how they will authenticate a student's identity and what constitutes sufficient engagement in distance learning on a given day. LEAs articulated these policies in their continuous education plans that were submitted to OSSI. Last week, we provided more support documents on our website about our attendance policy. You will find guidance and the language of the emergency and proposed attendance regulations on our website. You will also find a comprehensive frequently asked questions document that not only provides information on the attendance policy, but other topics such as data collection, interventions, and referrals. All of these resources are located on the OSSI website under COVID-19 guidance and resources. The emergency and proposed regulations on attendance are out for public comment until November 8th. Anyone wishing to comment on the proposed rulemaking should submit written comments to ossicomments.proposedregulations@dc.gov. We look forward to moving forward with the approval process with the State Board in November. Finally, over the past several months, OSSI has been working with LEAs on their continuous education plans, and these plans have now been approved. These plans demonstrate the level of thought, innovation, and flexibility necessary to ensure that our students continue to have a quality education in these difficult times. All plans may be found on the OSSI website. Yet these plans weren't meant to just provide more bureaucracy and more paperwork. In our most recent strategic plan, OSSI committed to building ecosystem capacity to improve outcomes for the students that we serve, and these plans helped us determine quality supports for distance learning. To support instructional planning and improvement, we updated our continuous education resources for local education agencies. These resources include OSSI guidance and support documents, specific upcoming point-in-time trainings, as well as a select number of carefully curated external resources. We also published a document to share exemplar resources to responses to each of the questions posed in the continuous education plans. We hope that these resources will be helpful in sharing effective practices across our LEAs. You may find all of these resources on our website by using the icon on the landing page carousel entitled Guiding Principles for Continuous Education. Thank you for the opportunity to share some of these updates with you today and look forward to continuing to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to hearing from our invited guests tonight, so we are going to jump right in. Mr. Hayworth, we have our panelists. I see them here. So we're going to jump right in. Our first panel is Myron Long, founder and CEO at the Social Justice Public Charter School. Serenity Rain, chair of the LSAT at Ann Beers Elementary School. Melody Molinoff, parent lead at Digital Equity in DC Education. Liz Davis, president of the Washington Teachers Union. And Dr. William Bonfleth of Penn State University, who, as I said, is chairing the Professional Societies Task Force related to COVID and buildings. And I believe he is going to be coming and joining us at 5, so he is not on right now. Okay, so with that, let's start with Mr. Long. And let me just say that we have each panelist has 5 minutes to speak. And then after all the panelists have spoken, we will have some board questions with each board member having, I think, 3 minutes. Is that right, John Paul, or 2 minutes per person?
2 minutes.
2 minutes per person. And that includes both the question and the answer. So, but we'll also have a second round.
And Madam President, Mr. Long may be a little bit delayed as well. So if you want to start with Ms. Rain.
Yes. Ms. Rain? Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, can you see me now? Okay.
We can
there we
see you
go.
and you have a great backdrop, so we're good. We're all good.
And now my sound is off. I can't hear you now. Oh no. Okay. Oh, turn on. All right, what about now?
We can hear you.
Okay. Great. Hello everyone. Oh, can you guys still hear and see me? I don't know what's happening.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to, I've never used this app before, so. Okay. All right, so thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Serenity Rain, and I'm a parent at Ann Beers Elementary with kids in kindergarten, 2nd grade, and 5th grade. I'm also the LSAT chair and a FoodPrints teacher. I'm here today to speak about the importance of equitable outdoor learning spaces. So I've been a parent at Ann Beers for about 6 years, a FoodPrints teacher for about 4 years, and the LSAT chair for 2 years. And I'm also a licensed social worker. I could speak on the importance of and value of outdoor learning spaces from my perspective of wearing many different hats. From my perspective as a parent, I see the value of outdoor learning spaces when I hear my children tell me what they did in the garden, and I see the excitement on their faces. They also tell me about the many things they learn when they go on nature walks, and my children are learning real life critical thinking, problem solving, team building, and essential life skills while learning outdoors. Outdoor learning spaces can reinforce social emotional skills and integrate a whole child approach to education. That is very important to me personally as a parent, and that's one main reasons why I chose Beers as a home for my school. As a home for my children. From my perspective as a FoodPrints teacher, I witnessed the impact outdoor learning has not only on the students, but on the entire school. Everyone in Beers, from the principal to the custodial staff, loves the school garden. It connects us as a school community. It gives us a sense of pride, ownership, and togetherness. When I or other teachers utilize the garden as an outdoor learning space, we provide hands-on life skills coupled with social emotional learning that is in alignment with the school's vision, success and nothing less. The social emotional learning provided by outdoor learning includes relationship skills, team building, social awareness, self-management, self-awareness, and responsible decision-making. Students get excited to come to school, the school garden, to jump from stomp to stomp, plant seeds, and even rake up leaves and pull wake up leaves and pull up weeds for composting. Being outside lets them feel less restricted and more free and more open to learning. From my social worker perspective, outdoor learning spaces are healing. This is especially important at schools in which so many students have experienced trauma and/or have special needs. Schools like Beers and other schools in Ward 7 and 8, unfortunately, have students who experience more trauma. Unfortunately, too many of our students are impacted by trauma, challenging childhoods, mental, physical, and learning disabilities, and we are not equipped with all the resources we need to fully help them. But this is where outdoor learning spaces are very beneficial. The time and space provided in the garden gives the students a chance to breathe, connect with nature. They are allowed to get their hands dirty, and by immersing their hands in the soil, they reap the benefits of all the good bacteria in the soil that are known to interact with the neurotransmitters in our body to produce good feeling hormones. I've seen how a student experiencing stress is relaxed by the garden. It's simply by digging in soil, planting a seed, or watering a plant. Just by simply participating in a FoodPrints session, children feel a sense of belonging. They feel like they matter. And no matter how big or small their contribution may be, what they did was important to getting something achieved together as a team. Our motto in FoodPrints is teamwork makes the dream work. And I often tell my students that no matter what role you play, every role is important to accomplishing our overall goal. I am a firm believer that outdoor learning spaces are imperative for a child's healthy well-being, especially for children who have experienced trauma and have special needs, which is the reason why there should be equitable access to outdoor learning spaces. All schools, especially those in Ward 7 and 8, should have safe outdoor learning spaces. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you. Ms. Molinoff?
Hi, how are you? Thanks so much for allowing me to share. My name is Melody Molinoff, and I'm a DCPS parent and co-lead Digital Equity in DC Education, a coalition of DCPS parents that has been working with DCPS leadership since 2018 to ensure that every student has the technology tools needed to be successful. As we balance our day jobs and parenting duties, we have continued to be heavily engaged with our communities and DCPS during the pandemic to bring awareness to technology issues impacting student learning. In addition, during week 3 of the fall term, we conducted an online family survey and a live teacher feedback session to learn about the challenges families and teachers are facing. I will highlight key issues impacting teaching and learning in DCPS this fall. The main issues impacting our students include difficulty navigating Canvas, the online learning management system used by DCPS, difficulty navigating and participating on Microsoft Teams, which is used for live class instruction, accessing course content on sites that are blocked, the DCPS issue device, which is the Microsoft Surface Go, is small, it is slow and not conducive for upper grade level work, and students are experiencing lags and disconnections due to internet bandwidth and speed issues. The main technology issues impacting our teachers include lack of DCPS provided computers and other instructional technology, lack of live interactive professional development and tech support, flexibility to allow alternative platforms for instruction that are more accessible for students and families, and teachers are absorbing the costs of increasing home internet plans, purchasing computers, and other technologies to be able to teach remotely. Despite insufficient technology resourcing and support for the distance learning environment, we are hearing from families that teachers and school leaders have done a great job scaling up virtual classroom models to meet their individual communities' needs. We all recognize that student engagement in the virtual environment is challenging, but teachers are finding creative ways to connect with their students despite policy roadblocks. The recent move to reopen schools adds a layer of complication to the technology challenges that students and teachers are facing. At this time, DCPS should be conducting an audit and supplying schools with devices for teachers and students who will be returning to in-school learning and scaling up an IT support model for the reopening. However, there is a lack of transparency and communication around DCPS technology planning to support in-school learning and continue supporting students who remain at home. We know digital equity is achievable. The key is a plan that is driven by quality data. There are many questions around student access to devices and ability to connect remotely during distance learning. And while DCPS has assured the public that they have and will provide every student with a device, there is no clear data to support this assertion. We have very little confidence in any of the data that DCPS has put out because only a fraction of families respond to inherently flawed surveys. Additionally, we have seen data points that are used out of context to support DCPS messaging, even though they do not accurately portray the technology challenges families are facing. In the upcoming budget process, we need your help in advocating for a comprehensive, funded technology plan for DCPS that includes a sustainable approach to providing student and teacher computers and robust IT support for schools and families. And we also need a citywide approach to expanding internet access so that the funding burden is not on the school system. We would encourage you to challenge DCPS and our city officials to truly commit to digital equity by using quality data to drive decision-making and planning and adequately fund school technology needs. In doing so, we will address digital equity in the long term and provide every DCPS student with a 21st century education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Long.